Welcome back, Hyper Turbo Army, and happy Halloween! And if you have young ones, remember to check their candy bars before consuming them, as last year somebody tried to stick a New York Giants home ticket in my son's Snickers bar! Now, as we enter the Week 9 edition of the Log of the Week, I'd like to say that it's been a hot second since I got hot and bothered over a Dallas Cowboys game, so let's open that can of worms first! With his head and his balls freshly waxed and polished, Dak Prescott did all he could to keep the game alive for the Cowboys, including throwing 2 touchdown passes that paired nicely with his 2 interceptions. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey went from the jurors bench to the Cowboys bench as he missed practices this week because he got jury duty, which goes to show you that not even Johnny Law can stop the Cowboys from losing, as CeeDee Lamb broke his own yardage record, but it'll take more than a dozen men injured on the San Francisco bench as the 49ers hung on to beat Dallas by a half dozen points on Sunday Night Football. And it was down to the wire in Washington as Jaden Daniels' own injuries couldn't even keep him away from competing against rookie Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. It was 15-12 in favor of the Bears. With 0 seconds left on the clock, Jaden Daniels receives the snap. He scrambles to the left. He scrambles to the right. He ordered a 5-piece spicy tendies from Popeyes, then launched the football deep into the Bears' red zone, where it was swatted back by a Bear named Stevenson and caught in the end zone by Commies wide receiver Noah Brown. Oh, as you can tell by my voice, it was a sight to see. Leapin' Lenny Poffo, what a game. The Log of the Week Lions lambasted the lowly Titans 52-14 with Jared Goff throwing for, this can't be right, less than 40 yards? How do you manage that? The Cheeseheads went on to beat the Jaguars with a score of 30-27, and Texas Pride now resides full-time in Houston as the Colts came 3 points shy of a tie, but they fell to the Texans. During the third quarter of the game, Indianapolis Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson headed back to the locker room early to the confusion in all of attendance in Houston. When asked about it by a nosy reporter, Richardson says it was because he's tired and he tapped out of the play. Oh, you're tired? Well then, Mr. Richardson, maybe Colts fans are tired of you and we want to be watching Smokin' Joe Flacco light it up instead. Who wouldn't want that? Apparently the Indianapolis coaches want that because today it was made perfectly clear that Joe Flacco will be throwing the football for the Colts moving forward as of this week. Adding that to the Giants' loss to the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, it is now time to turn things over to the Hyper Turbo Scooseball newsroom for some catch-up with everything outside of the NFL.
I would just like to make perfectly clear that never in my entire presidency have I ever had anything even resembling a sunny day.
That's clearly not the newsroom. But hey, since we've got a special guest here, what's on your mind, President Milhouse? I mean President Nixon.
I would like to take this opportunity to say that I have been a dedicated listener for many, many years, all the seasons of Hyper Turbo Scooseball, and I would like to say that I am a dedicated Washington Redskin fan, and I don't want to call them the communists like they're called now, but I'm still a dedicated fan to all American football teams, just like every American. Whatever American you are, I am the fan of your particular football team.
Well, I guess you know what they say in Vulcan. Only Nixon could go to China, and only Hyper Turbo Scooseball could mess up a simple call to the newsroom and accidentally reanimate and pocket dial a former president. So for real this time, I'm turning things over for some news with everything outside of the NFL to the Hyper Turbo Skews-Ball newsroom with our anchor, Zach McGibbon. What's going on, McGibbon?
Welcome inside the Hyper Turbo Skews-Ball News Center. I'm Zach McGibbon with a look at what's making news across the world of football. We start in the college ranks, where we get a look at the latest top 10 rankings in the world of NCAA football. Number 1, Oregon, leading with an 8-0 record, led by Dylan Gabriel, who is in the Heisman race. Also number 2, Georgia Bulldogs. Number 3, Penn State. Number 4, Ohio State. The University of Miami making its way into the top 5, led by Cam Ward. They have an 8-0 record. Number 6, the Texas Longhorns, alternating between Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning at quarterback. Number 7 goes to Tennessee. Number 8 going to Notre Dame. Number 9, BYU sneaking into the top 10. And at number 10 is Texas A&M. Also members of the top 25 include Boise State, led by Ashton Genty. Boise State makes it to 15th overall. LSU dropped a couple of rankings, heading down from 8th to 16th this week. Also in the top 25, Army making its way into the top 25 rankings, ranking in at number 21. SMU, once a powerhouse in college football in the 80s, then hit by the death penalty, returns into the top 25 at number 20. Also, Deion Sanders' Colorado Buffaloes are in the top 25 at number 23. Rounding out the top 25 at 25th is Mizzou. As mentioned, a couple of the Heisman Trophy candidates, and looking at the betting odds on FanDuel, the favorite right now at plus 200, Travis Hunter for Colorado, the dual threat at wide receiver and defensive back. Dylan Gabriel for Oregon comes in at number 2 at a plus 250. Cam Ward, number 3. Ashton Genty for Boise State coming in at number 4. Cade Klubnik at Clemson coming in at number 5. And Carson Beck coming in at plus 4,000 odds for the Georgia Bulldogs. Heading outside of the States and heading up north to Canada, where the CFL playoffs will begin this Saturday. It will kick things off with the Eastern semifinal, where the Ottawa Red Blacks will travel to BMO Field to take on the Toronto Argonauts. It's the Red Blacks' first playoff appearance in many years. They look to try and win and get back into the Eastern final, where the Montreal Alouettes await the winner of either the Red Blacks or the Toronto Argonauts. Also happening on Saturday after the Eastern semifinal game will be the Western semifinal, where the BC Lions will take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders at Mosaic Stadium. That will take place at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The winner of that matchup will take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the Western final. Both the Eastern and Western final will take place next week on Saturday, November 9th. That's a look at what's happening in the world of football. I'm Zach McGibbon in the Hyper Turbo Skews-Ball News Center.
With college football and the CFL addressed and out of the way until the Grey Cup challengers announce themselves, let's see who's going to win in the NFL this week. Houston Texans wide receiver Stephon Diggs won't be getting any play time on tonight when the Texans play the Jets, as he won't be getting any play time at all due to a season-ending ACL injury. But the entire Jets squad season is also pretty much over as night falls over the Aaron Rodgers era. If I was the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, I'd start issuing apologies to Zach Wilson, Mike White, Joe Flacco. You know what? I'd just issue apologies to every other Jets quarterback they've had since Mark Sanchez. And those looking for some entertainment in the MetLife area should head over Friday and Saturday when they change the turf from Jets green to Giants blue. Because watching grass grow and paint dry will be leagues more entertaining than watching the Commanders and Texans stomp these New York home teams. The road to 500 continues for the Dallas Cowboys as they head down to Georgia looking to put up numbers against the Atlanta Falcons. Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins will be dueling for fantasy points, and that's all the Cowboys are going to get this year, imaginary points and imaginary wins. That is, unless Jerry Jones's limo gets lost along the railroad tracks, and he loses the franchise to a shady businessman in a fiddle contest in Georgia. Unless this happens, the Falcons will take the win. Now, regardless of what the droning All Elite Wrestling fan base says, not even Eddie Kingston could save the Jacksonville Jaguars from being dubbed another Khan family flop. Much like All Elite Wrestling, all you have to do to understand why the Jaguars programming sucks is designate 2 hours to watch that subpar sports entertainment. The Philadelphia Eagles will no doubt deliver an ECW beatdown to the AEW Jaguars in primetime on Sunday night. And once you remove the Tennessee Titans and the New York Giants and Jets duo from the equation, the lock of the week boils down not to strength, but to resilience. And with their well-rounded ability to overcome many deficits, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' defense is twice as resilient as the Denver Broncos. And the choice should be obvious for fans all across North America as we've looked for the lock of the week. But the Ravens lost to the Browns in the middle of Cleveland's clearance sale, so the Buffalo Bills are the Hyper Turbo Skews Ball lock of the week. The Dolphins will be floating belly side up on Sunday. Happy Halloween.
This message was brought to you by the great taste of Charleston Chew.